Yaffee program on WVNN.
So I have a confession here. I have to admit something. There are some days where I don't know how to start this show because, I'm on in the last hour with Dale Jackson show, 5 to 9 a.m. And it's just, sometimes we end in the weirdest, craziest ways. And then, we go to my show, and it's like, I got to talk about Iran. I got to talk about the serious stuff. I got to get everyone up to date on this news. It really is kind of a shift. And I'm curious if that is jarring for a lot of people out there to go from him to me some days, or if it's good, if it's like a nice change. That is a question I have for everyone. Or if some of you don't even listen to Dale, you just listen to me. You just turn it on when I'm here, which, okay. I am your voice of reason. You should listen to the station all day, but I understand you are listening to the Yaffee program. This is the show where you can count on the latest news, the important guests, and the best analysis, all for your morning commute. Here on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. We actually have a lot to talk about. Two big stories, really. We have the latest in Iran, but also the end of the Alabama legislative session, and a lot of stuff that happened at the last minute. Bills that didn't make it through, bills that did make it through, including a really dumb fight over the 10 Commandments. It's one of those things where it's just makes sense. Okay, yeah, 10 Commandments. What's wrong with that? But some of the responses from Democrats in the legislature on why we shouldn't do it just tells me we need it even more. We need to teach our kids proper values because things have gotten screwed up. So I'll have some of that later on. I also have the Alabama bullet points. At the bottom of the hour, we'll speak with Brad Presnall, who is a political consultant. We'll also give an update on the Artemis 2 mission because that concludes today as they re-enter Earth's atmosphere. So that's pretty cool. So we'll talk about that. In the next hour, the legendary Will Hampson will join the show. He's the official D.C. insider of the Yaffee program. We'll talk Iran and the government. Department of Homeland Security is still not funded. I know we're forgetting because it's been so long, but it's still not funded. So we'll get to that. And Walker is here. She's going to do What's Trending later on. I'll end the show with the Yaffee program Rewind, of course, after that. But Walker, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited to go visit some friends in Nashville this weekend.
Oh, are you going to do the whole downtown scene, or what are you going to do while you're in Nashville? Just visit them or what?
Well, one friend is having a retirement from his corporate job party, and then it's another friend's birthday. Do what?
Is this a young person or?
He's 36, I think.
So he's young. Okay. Retire. What is he? He wants to do freelance? What is that? Did he win the lottery?
He's going to be doing some freelance work, yeah.
Oh, okay. But the other friend, what's the other friend doing?
It's her birthday. So.
Oh, okay.
Well,
that sounds fun.
Go out and play board games and stuff.
You're going to go out and play board games?
Yeah. Nashville has a big community of board game players where they'll meet at whether it's bars, restaurants.
They do?
Yeah.
That's what? Okay. We can delve into this more. Is it like Candyland? Shoots and ladders?
I mean, definitely more
Monopoly?
complex board games than that.
Okay. Actually, I do have a good friend of mine who is super into board games like you're talking about. There are a lot of. It is kind of crazy, actually, how many different kinds of board games there are, and some of them you're right get very complex. Where I'm can I just play solitaire? I don't have the patience for some of those kind of games. I have to be honest, but that sounds like fun. Okay, good. By the way, do you have the audio ready?
I do.
Chance? Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. I do want to update people on some of the latest here, including some not so good news. When it comes to inflation, it's probably not too surprising. But stock market, it's it's kind of going down a little bit, but inflation is up. We're about 3.3% now for the last quarter. No, it's because of gas prices. We kind of expected that to happen. But that's why I think, but one big reason why Trump wants to kind of wrap this up, I just hope that we finish the job. And that's going to be hard to do. I keep reminding people, it's been a month. And I know Trump gave a timeline about 5 weeks. He's trying to keep within that timeline. But in the big scheme of things, a military conflict lasting a month is not very long. That we can stick it out a little bit longer if we need to finish the job. We have the capability to do that. As I've been saying for a while, when it comes to this, the military is not going to, if we end up losing or leaving before the job is done, it's hard to say we lost because we've decimated their military. But if we end up leaving before the job is done, it's not the fault of the military. The military is amazing. It will be the fault of either the leadership or the will of the American people. But here's what we have in the latest. I'll read some of this from the Wall Street Journal. It says Iran tightens its grip on Hormuz despite ceasefire. So Trump demanded opening the strait. Tehran's Revolutionary Guard is limiting ship traffic and charging tolls. So Iran told mediators it would limit the number of ships crossing the Strait of Hormuz to around a dozen a day. Which, yeah, as you can imagine, is not a lot. And then you have Fox News here. Apparently, that is persisting today. Oil traffic through the Strait of Hormuz remains effectively halted despite a U.S.-backed ceasefire that hinged on reopening the critical waterway, raising fresh questions about whether Iran is following through on a central condition of the truce. Now, a backlog of roughly 3,200 vessels, among them 800 tankers and cargo ships, has built up west of the strait, with ships idling as operators wait for clarity on whether it's safe to pass. That must be a sight to see. 3,200 vessels just sitting there in a traffic jam. You know, if they go all at once, the chances of them getting hit are lower, right? You know, if they all just go right at once in a big group, you know, it's like when you're on a field trip, when you're a kid and you're on a field trip and you have your pal, you're supposed to have one person, your field trip buddy or something that you stick with. See, you're working together here. We can make it through. Anyway, it says no oil tankers have risked the journey in recent days, according to Matt Smith, who is an analyst at Kepler, a data and intelligence company. It says we're not seeing any oil products passing through there, which obviously isn't good. Now, the other bit of news that we have is that J.D. Vance is headed to Islamabad, and that's going to be because Pakistan is trying to broker this Iranian ceasefire, and J.D. Vance is actually the person who is going to be kind of mediating that. Now, there is some other news as well from President Trump. President Donald Trump warned Iran on Thursday amid reports that Tehran is charging tankers a toll to gain access to the strait. He said there are reports that Iran is charging fees to tankers going through the Hormuz Strait. They better not be, and if they are, they better stop now. That's what he wrote on Truth Social. He said, Iran is doing a very poor job, dishonorable, some would say, of allowing oil to go through the Strait of Hormuz. That is not the agreement we have. So my question yesterday for everyone is, will the 2-week ceasefire hold? I'm cautiously optimistic, but it's not looking really good right now. Now, I did want to play this cut real quick. A member of the Trump administration talking about a lot of this. Kevin Hassett was on Fox News yesterday. Go ahead if you can, Walker. Play the Kevin Hassett cut for me.
So much on the table that we're willing to give to help the Iranian people if they just act normally, that hopefully there'll be cooler heads and sounder minds at the Iranian side, and that we'll come to a final agreement this weekend. If they establish a rule of law, if they join the community of nations, then we fully expect that they could be a very wealthy and peaceful country again. And so I think that, analysis of how good it could be for them if they take a deal is something that will for sure be on the table. I began the year with a guess that we'd probably be in the 4 to 5 range for economic growth because of all this, and I'll stick by those numbers. I think this is a temporary a distraction that will very, very quickly go away. You saw that when you saw the market celebrate yesterday when they thought that this would be over.
Well, if gas prices continue around $4 a gallon, we are not going to get 4 to 5 to 6% economic growth, GDP growth. Not going to happen. But I will say there could be a lot of pent-up economic activity. So if the war does end soon and gas prices go back down pretty quickly, you could see kind of a bump in the next quarter, which is something. Now, the other bit of news as well, Democrats yesterday were trying to block Trump's actions in Congress. Didn't make it through. The Republicans in the House blocked their efforts. But House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries was talking about this yesterday. Play the Hakeem Jeffries cut for me, Walker.
In this reckless war of choice, and billions of dollars are being spent to drop bombs in Iran, while Republicans are unwilling to spend a dime to make life more affordable for the American people. We need a permanent end to Donald Trump's costly and reckless war of choice. And House Democrats are committed to bringing about that outcome. We only need a handful of Republicans, like Mike Lawler, Nicole Maliotakis, or others, to join House Democrats so we can end the madness now. Article 5, an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. That collective defense provision has only been invoked once in the history of the NATO alliance. That was in defense of the United States of America.
All right, so the last part, he's talking about Trump threatened to leave NATO because they're not really helping out. I mean, it is true, technically, what he said there, but it's also true that the European countries have really fallen short throughout the years when it comes to defense. Being part of NATO, there is no doubt the United States has carried the load. We all know that's the reality. There's a grain of truth to what Trump is saying. So I'll get your take on this. If you want to weigh in, we're still, day 2, day 3 of this ceasefire? Can it hold on for 2 weeks? Are you kind of sick of it? Are you just saying we need to get out? Some people might be. You can weigh in, 866-494-9866. That is our Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866. And as you know, it's brought to you by Regenesis Stem Cell Center. Go to regenesisstemcell.com. All right, we have the Alabama Bullet Points coming up next. Brad Presnell at the bottom of the hour. This is the Yaffee program.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. I am Alabama's voice of reason, Huntsville's conservative conscience. Glad you're joining the show. Don't forget Brad Presnell. Going to join me in a couple of minutes. He wants to talk about one of the candidates he's working for, State Auditor Andrew Sorrell. I played the ad. His new ad yesterday is pretty funny, so we'll discuss that more coming up in just a minute. Right now, though, let's get to those headlines. Once again, we have the Alabama Bullet Points.
Alabama Bullet Points. Today's headlines from around the Yellowhammer State.
Sponsored by Larry's Pistol and Pawn. Number 4 today, Montgomery Police Staffing Bill. Well, it's died in the House in the Alabama legislature on the last day of the session. So a bill aimed at setting minimum staffing requirements for police departments in Alabama's larger cities, which was primarily targeting Montgomery's severe shortages. Well, it died without a vote in the House on the final day of the session. Now, Senate Bill 298, sponsored by Senator Will Barfoot, sought to establish mandated officer levels for Class 3 municipalities like Montgomery and Huntsville amid ongoing public safety concerns in the capital city. It was the last item on the calendar, but was not taken up due to time constraints and the likelihood of a lengthy filibuster. It's amazing that that's what Democrats are going to filibuster, wanting more police to deal with crime in Montgomery. No, we can't have that filibuster. So there you go. It's unfortunate. All right, and another bill here that died in the Alabama legislature on the last day, this time in the Senate, the closed primary bill. So a closed primary bill in Alabama died without a Senate vote on the final day of the session. The legislation would have required voters to formally register with a political party to participate in the party's primaries or runoffs, while imposing a 60-day blackout period before elections during which party affiliation could not be changed. It would not have applied to the 2026 elections and was set to take effect January 1st next year. Now, the bill is strongly supported by the Alabama Republican Party and sponsored by Representative Ernie Yarbrough, passed the House but stalled in the Senate. It was never brought up for a vote due to extended filibusters on other measures, and it was effectively killed when the House adjourned around 5:30 p.m. on Thursday. Opponents argue it will prevent voters from other parties from influencing Republican nominees, which they're right. Number 2 today. A year after Lulu Gribben's plea, Alabama's Shark Alert System quietly goes live. So nearly a year after 15-year-old Lulu Gribben from Mountain Brook lost her right leg and left hand in a brutal, unprovoked shark attack that happened at Rosemary Beach, Florida on June 7th, Alabama quietly launched the Lulu Gribben Shark Alert System along its Gulf Coast on April 10th. Now, following her emotional plea on the Today Show, the state passed Lulu's law, signed by Governor Kay Ivey in May of last year. The system uses FEMA's integrated public alert and warning system to send targeted cell phone alerts only for confirmed unprovoked shark attacks on the shoreline in Baldwin and Mobile counties. Now, specifically in geofenced beached areas south of the Intercoastal Waterway. And they're saying a shark alert is in effect in this area. That's what it will say. So glad it's gone live. Oh, and this one is something here. Number 1, Democrats in the Alabama legislature rail against a bill requiring 10 commandments in schools. Alabama lawmakers passed Senate Bill 99 by an 81-10 vote. The bill requires public schools to display the 10 commandments in classrooms and common areas for grades 5 through 12, along with a statement explaining in historical context in American and Western civilization. Democrats overwhelmingly opposed the measure, arguing it violates the U.S. Constitution's Establishment Clause and could alienate non-Christian students. One Democrat, though, stated this, which is unbelievable. Said, "We slaughtered an entire civilization on this ground, and we enslaved another civilization on this ground." While others warn that children from other faiths might be affected, felt excluded. What? The 10 Commandments, I'll have to talk about it later. We wiped out a generation on this ground on the 10 Commandments? What are you talking about? There's nothing in the 10 Commandments that says wipe out a civilization. I don't know where that person's going with this. I'll have to just get into that later. It's just insane. But that's okay. I mean, if I'm a Republican, I just point that out, that they're against it for those reasons, and you just get more support, honestly. You can weigh in on that if you want. We have our Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866. By the way, today and tomorrow, you want to go to Larry's Pistol and Pawn in Madison, off Greenbrier Exit 3, by the Big Rusty Water Tower. Ruger days are here. So if you're looking for a great new firearm for a great price, they're going to have representatives there today and tomorrow, and you can get it for a great deal. Amazing deals there. Larry's Pistol and Pawn in Madison, off Greenbrier Exit 3, by the Big Rusty Water Tower. Find out more right now at pistolandpawn.com. And when you do, let them know Yaffee was the one who sent you.
The Yaffee Program.
The countdown is on for the 2026 NFL Draft presented by Bud Light. Catch all 7 rounds 3 days live from Pittsburgh, April 23rd through 25th. Watch every pick live on NFL Network, ESPN, and ABC. NFL Network is also streaming with NFL Plus. It all starts Thursday, April 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern. Visit NFL.com/draft for more information. Subscription required for NFL Plus. Visit plus.nfl.com for terms.
Hey there, I'm Paula Pan. I help people make the smartest money decisions possible.
Joe, you know what's been great about being a saver?
More money in the bank.
And that money over the past couple of years has made a pretty good yield. Pre-pandemic, money was making zero. Now it's actually making something, but that's starting to go down, down, down.
I love how we can play the fact that inflation's been really high as a positive. But if you're a saver, you know what that means? Cha-ching.
Silver lining, Joe, silver lining.
Afford anything. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
We are back here on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Glad you've joined the show today. Don't forget you can weigh in on our Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866. Real quick, I did see this text come in. Said Dale is a Grinch. Oh, that's good. But anyway, actually the texter said this. The art of the deal. Trump is a master deal maker. He is playing 3D chess when everybody else is playing checkers. Let Trump finish his plan, and everybody will come out a winner. So one person optimistic about this ceasefire. So that's good. So we'll talk more about that later on. I know the legendary Will Hampson will join me and want to weigh in on that. Right now, though, Walker, is Brad on? Did he end up calling us? Is he on with us?
He's on.
Okay, good. So Brad Presnell, political consultant, does work for State Auditor Andrew Sorrell, running for re-election, Senator Tommy Tuberville, running for governor, Rodney Walker, running for the Senate, also the AEA and others. Brad, how are you today, sir?
Doing well, Yaffee. Really happy that this pollen is about done.
Is it about done? Do you know that? Because I want it to be done too. It is killing me. But why do you think it's about done?
I have multiple large oak trees in my yard, and they drop these little, I don't know what they call these things, they drop off of them that are full of pollen. And when the trees have dropped all of them every year, usually the pollen is pretty much gone. We just need one rain to just kind of settle it, and then I start feeling better. So it's looking upwards.
Oh, okay. Good. That is the best news I've heard all day. I just have to say that's probably the best news everyone listening has heard all day because it has.
That's right.
I feel like it's been worse than in years past. Maybe it's just me, but it's been bad this year. I don't know.
I think so. I think we've had a pretty warm spring, except for a couple of nights here and there where it got down pretty chilly. But we've had a pretty warm spring. And, I remember that the rose bushes I have in my yard, too, started blooming in February, if you can believe that. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, kind of strange. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Okay, we'll talk about other stuff other than pollen, everyone. Don't worry. There's always those people that are like, no, get back to the important things. But anyway, actually, you're working for State Auditor Andrew Sorrell's campaign, and he just put out an ad very similar to an ad that he put out the first time, his first campaign. And I want to play it here before I get your reaction to it. So, Walker, go and play that Andrew Sorrell cut for me.
I'm Hannah Sorrell, and my husband Andrew loves auditing state government property. I'm worried that if he doesn't get reelected as state auditor,
Liberty has 17 stuffed animals. 17!
He might start auditing at home.
These crowns were purchased in bulk. Very efficient.
And it's not just the girls.
9 diapers and 4 pacifiers. You've passed your first audit.
So please re-elect Andrew Sorrell as state auditor for the sake of our house and our sanity.
All right, there it is. I want him to come audit my house, actually. She was saying it's driving her crazy. I'm like, no, come to my house and do it. But yeah, go ahead and talk about it. I'm guessing you guys have already had a positive response to it.
That's right, yeah. You remember about a month ago, I came on and kind of teased you saying that Andrew had sent me his first ad for this cycle, and it was going to be fun and creative, and people were going to love it. Well, that's the ad that I was talking about, and it was released earlier this week, and Andrew told me yesterday that he has just been overwhelmed with positive comments about the ad personally when he's going around campaigning and also on Facebook and other social media venues. And, it's creative and it's fun. And I know I'm biased, but I think Andrew and his wife, Hannah, they both are such naturals when they film these things, and they have fun with it, and their warmth and enthusiasm for the campaign and his job and their love of their family just shines through. And that's what you want in a campaign ad, just to show people, politics are important. It's a very serious thing. But also when you have ads like this, people really enjoy them and they remember them.
Oh, I would agree. I mean, I think it's a big reason why he won to begin with. because he did one similar to this when he ran the first time using his daughter, and it was very effective. Because when you're talking about state auditor too, not a lot of people really know about the position or know what it entails. So you have to find ways to get the attention, and I think it does well. So I'm guessing the campaign overall is going well.
It is going well. He's really working, extremely hard. I mean, how many days are we away now? Between 30 and 40, I lose count. And usually he and I talk quite often, but he's been so busy lately. Our consistent phone calls that we have kind of gotten a little slimmer because he's just, going from morning until night. So it will continue until Election Day, that's for sure.
He is definitely one of those people that go, that I'm very jealous of, because I'm not that personality, but he is. And yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I know he has some tough competition. Derek Chen seems to be raising money and doing well.
That's true. And, Andrew always runs like the old saying, you always run like you're even or a little behind. And he takes nothing for granted, and he understands he has stiff competition, and he respects that, and he's going to earn people's votes.
Speaking with Brad Presnell, political consultant, another campaign you're working for, Rodney Walker. And I wrote a piece at YellowHammerNews.com about this last week. I think maybe it was earlier this week. But Rodney Walker complaining about some of the polls. So you had some polls out when it came to the U.S. Senate race showing basically a dead heat between Barry Moore, Jared Hudson, and Steve Marshall. Rodney Walker was about 1% in the poll. But Walker, and you can tell me what you think, he says, no, those polls are misleading and he should be further ahead. But what do you think?
You're right, Yaffee. That what you wrote for Yellowhammer, that was an excellent piece. And you're right. I mean, Rodney really questions these polls. If these polls were solid, Yaffee, they wouldn't have to hide the questions. The polls that have been released, they haven't done that because the questions would expose the bias. And Yaffee, our campaign has heard from people who were hung up on during telephone polls, not the text one, but ones when they actually call you and talk with you, once the respondent mentioned Rodney Walker's name. So when a pollster does that, when he excludes a candidate or hangs up on certain supporters, that's shrinking the field, which obviously distorts numbers. So when the media or the power brokers do these kind of push polls, they're telling voters, don't bother thinking, we've already chosen for you. And Yaffee, if you think about it also, if Rodney were really at 1%, nobody would be working hard to erase him. Somebody doesn't spend millions of dollars to manipulate polls and millions of dollars for ads and exclude a candidate's name to beat somebody if they're just at 1%. So he believes, and we believe, that the effort to erase him is proof that he's gaining traction. There are 6 candidates in the race. Those 6 should be mentioned in the poll and each given their strengths when putting in front of a voter if you really want to get an active snapshot in time of what's going on. Now, I will say this, from our own independent polling, when voters see the full field and hear about the candidates, their strengths, Rodney Walker lands right at about 20%. And these internal poll numbers were never going to be released. The poll that the campaign commission from Deep Root Analytics was meant to track where Rodney is at this point in time for his own personal use to track himself, where he was doing well and maybe some areas where he could do better on the campaign trail. These numbers, Yaffee, were released to correct the record. Most campaigns release internal polls to puff themselves up and to increase donations, but Rodney released this to stop misinformation.
Oh, okay. So what his personal poll, where was he at again? I think you just said it, but say it
right
again.
At 20%. Right at 20%, a little northward of 20. So you could say 2021.
Was that, what was that in comparison to the other candidates? Did your poll talk about that?
Yeah, they were all in that same kind of grouping. Most of the numbers of the other perceived top 3, all of their numbers were a little lower than they were. It shows a 4-man race, basically what it does, Yaffee, for the 4 men trying to get into the 2 runoff positions. And it gets down to the same old adage, the people of Alabama are going to decide this race, not big groups like Club for Growth, who might end up spending anywhere from $10 to $15 million in support of a single candidate. trying to buy the race by saying the word Trump 15 times in a 30-second ad like it's a college drinking game.
True, but I mean, can you really blame them? I feel like, so you think the Trump endorsement doesn't mean as much maybe as it used to?
It doesn't mean as much as it used to. Absolutely not. I mean, we have seen articles and studies that actually shows that at this point in time in Alabama, Katie Britt's endorsement means more than Trump. Now, people could debate that and say, no, that's not true. But there have been polls out, quiet polls, and I think one was released maybe a couple of weeks ago that said that her endorsement held more weight. So, it just depends. A president goes through ebbs and flows, and obviously President Trump at one point was popular with, I think he was in the low 80s in Alabama, and that's, all the Republicans and a bunch of Democrats. And so that has taken a hit, obviously, because of the war and some other things. So, if you're going to run on your record, and it's great to get a good endorsement, and you can say it, but tell the people what you've done.
Speaking with Brad Presnell, political consultant. Any thoughts on the war? By the way, how's it going? I haven't really talked to you about it too much, but I'm sure you're keeping up with it.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical on the ceasefire. I would like to see it happen, but, we've tried this in the past with different skirmishes over the years, and it seems like somebody always breaks it, or some third group comes in and says, oh, we weren't under that umbrella of the ceasefire, and they bomb somebody or try to attack somebody. So I know it's a very prickly situation, and everybody wants it over. I think that's pretty universal, that people would like to see it over. Either us just finish it and come home, or find some way to coexist and get the straits open. I mean, it's a higher pay raise than me to try to figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. A lot of people I talk to, even Trump supporters, are very skeptical that the ceasefire can hold. I'm cautiously optimistic, but the caution is definitely there. Brad Presnell, appreciate you coming on. As always, my friend, we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you so much, Yaffee.
All right, when we get back, a lot more to get to. I want to talk a little bit about this Artemis 2 mission, which is supposed to wrap up today. You got to pray for the astronauts because in some ways this is the hardest part of the mission. So we'll get to that and more next on the Yaffee program. Stay with us.
It's the Yaffee program on WVNN.
We're back here on the Yaffee program. Newstalk 770 AM 92.5 FM WVNN. It's a revolution in common sense here on the show. By the way, one thing that I've said has really united the country. If there is one thing that you can point to that really has united all sides on everything, whatever your race, whatever your political affiliation, whatever your religious affiliation, everyone, maybe not the flat earthers, but outside of that, everyone seems to be happy about the Artemis 2 mission. I was just looking at video of the solar eclipse that they had from behind the moon. That was awesome, I have to say. I saw this as well. Katie Britt talked to the Artemis 2 crew, said Alabama is proud as mission nears re-entry. So Alabama's role in NASA's return to deep space took center stage this week as U.S. Senator Katie Britt spoke with the Artemis 2 crew ahead of their plane return to Earth, highlighting contributions from Huntsville's Marshall Space Flight Center. Now, Britt joined NASA leadership and fellow lawmakers to communicate with the 4 astronauts aboard the Orion spacecraft as the mission has neared completion. Now, Artemis 2 marks the first crewed deep space flight since 1972, with a lunar flyby set to conclude upon re-entry. Now, during the call, Britt emphasized the significance of the mission and invited the astronauts to share the messages with their families and the next generation of explorers. She said, hey, everyone, I know how proud we are in Alabama of the role that Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville has played in this incredible mission. So I can't even imagine how unbelievably proud your families are of you and how excited they are to see you soon and to welcome you back to Earth. So instead of a question, I want to let each of you take the next minute to publicly address your children and the next generation of space explorers at this history-making spaceflight mission as it enters its final hours. So thank you very much for your incredible service and your example. So that's what Katie Britt said. I want to play this cut as well. I grabbed a cut of a couple of NASA officials during the press conference yesterday, kind of explaining what the next step is here in this mission. So go ahead and play the Artemis cut for me, Walker.
Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, the crew of Artemis 2, will come home. They will have traveled 400,000 miles. They will have seen what no living person has seen. They will have tested every system on the spacecraft and the environment it was built for, and they will have given us 10 days of data that will shape every mission that comes after. The Orion spacecraft will enter the Earth's atmosphere at approximately 25,000 miles per hour. That heat shield, the thermal protection system, which is built by American hands and American factories for materials designed to withstand temperatures that approach the surface of the sun, will bear the full force of that reentry.
We'll enter blackout at 6:53 local Central Time. About 10 minutes later, the drogue chutes will deploy at 7:03, and then the main chutes will be right behind them a minute later, 7:04, and we'll see those three main parachutes come out, leading down to splashdown at 7:07.
So, by the way, apparently they're going to be re-entering Earth at like 20,000 miles per hour. When they were traveling at some of their highest speeds, they were going 7 miles a second. And I know Bugsy wishes she could go that fast in her car, knowing her speeding record, but 7 miles per second. I don't know. That is some crazy stuff. So, yeah, we have to pray for them, though, because, as I mentioned, this could be the hardest part, re-entry. It's still kind of fascinating to me that we went back to rockets. So we had the space shuttle. Originally, the space shuttle was kind of meant to replace rockets and have a reusable thing and it would be better. But it turned out in the long run, it cost more to keep up the space shuttle than it did to just use new rockets every time. And as I mentioned, SpaceX is like trying to reuse the booster. So that's pretty good. Now, Katie Britt said more here. Let me read a little bit more of what she said. She said, this historic Artemis 2 mission is a remarkable feat of mankind made possible by decades of Alabama grit and ingenuity. As our nation reflects on this extraordinary accomplishment, I'm especially proud to highlight the men and women of Marshall Space Flight Center. It was an honor to thank the Artemis 2 crew today for their leadership and contributions to the future of space exploration, but it also reminded me of the work happening every day in Huntsville to execute this mission. I couldn't be prouder to support Marshall's space programs, and I'm deeply grateful for every single individual who played a role in making this journey a reality. Because of their efforts, America is leading the way back to the moon and then to Mars. So it's all pretty cool. I just have to say, I really should try to get Dean Odle on, though. Dean Odle. For those who don't know, Dean Odle was running for governor before. I think he's running for lieutenant governor now or something. He's a flat earther. He tells people like me that, to be a Christian, you have to be a flat earther. Dale Jackson kind of put him on the spot. That interview is hilarious. You can find the podcast. It was funny. I was the one who told Dale. Dale didn't even know he was a flat earther until I told him at the time. It's really funny. But, I mean, you look at these videos and stuff. You look at the videos of the crew. You look at the pictures they're taking. You're talking to them live and all of this stuff. If you are a flat earther, what is your response? Is it just that it must be AI generated? Is that it just we have AI, so it's all fake? I encourage everyone, by the way. There is a YouTube channel. I think I've mentioned this before, but I encourage everyone to do this again. There is a YouTube channel called, now I'm trying to remember exactly what it's called. It's called like Graphic Artists React. Well, it's a channel where they like go over special effects artists react or something. It's a channel where they go over special effects in movies and they talk about how it's made and how CGI is done and everything else. So this group did a video, and you can find it on YouTube, where they react to the original moon landing. And it was one of the best videos I saw on the original moon landing because it explains in detail why there is no way it was fake. Why there is no way that at the time we had the technology to fake a moon landing like that. Just certain things that happen in the video that you could not do. You could barely do with special effects now that you could not do, especially back then with special effects. It's really interesting because they go over stuff you wouldn't think about, but they go through the video and they just really prove why it's real, even though, I mean, we don't need any we all know. We all know it was real, okay? Just stop with this nonsense. All right, the legendary Will Hampson joining me in the next segment. We're going to talk government shutdown, Iran, much more. He's the official D.C. insider of the show. So we'll get to that next on the Yaffee program.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
Hey, football fans. Still a legend, Jerome Bettis here. When I think about football in Pittsburgh, I think about tradition, hard work, and moments that last forever. It's a place where the love of the game brings people together. And for the first time ever, the NFL Draft comes to the Steel City. Be there for 3 days of football, and the moment draft dreams are realized. The 2026 NFL Draft, presented by Bud Light, April 23rd to the 25th. Register for free entry at NFL.com/draft access.
Hi, I'm Joe Saul-Sehy, host of the Stacking Benjamins podcast.
Most economists agree a small amount of inflation is actually good. 2% is what you're going for.
So why is everybody freaking out? Oh, because it's the fallout. People don't track their budget. You have this slow slipping that happens every month until all of a sudden you go, man, I don't have any money. The reason is now two people go to a restaurant. The bill is $60 for two.
Two guys walk into a restaurant.
They start screaming. Isn't that hilarious?
$60. Ah!
Stacking Benjamins. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The Yaffee Program on WVNN.
Second hour of the Yaffee Program, Friday edition of the show. Here on News Talk 770 AM 92.5 FM WVNN. You know who I am. You know how this works. Hopefully you know how to spell my name by now. Yaffee if you want to follow any of the social media stuff. So I think we're at day 1,432.5 of this partial government shutdown. Okay, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but, I mean, who knows at this point? I can't believe it's still going on where Department of Homeland Security is unfunded. Now, the last time I had the legendary Will Hampson on the show, he railed against the potential deal put forward by senators to fund Department of Homeland Security. Well, earlier this week, I spoke with Congressman Barry Moore on my show, and he had a different idea, which I want to get Will's reaction to. So joining me on the show right now is the legendary Will Hampson. He is the official D.C. insider of the show. Will, how are you today?
Yaffee, doing great. Happy Friday.
So, I want to get your reaction, because the last time you were on, you were pretty upset at Republican leaders, John Thune especially, because their deal was, well, we'll pass DHS funding now, we'll carve out ICE and CBP funding, and we'll pass that later on through a reconciliation bill. You don't trust it can be done through reconciliation. So Barry Moore comes on my show and he says, let's switch that. He wants to try to pass ICE and CBP funding through reconciliation first, and then later on pass the rest of DHS funding. Now, you also have the House Freedom Caucus. They came out this week and said, how about we pass all of it through reconciliation? We don't need Democrats at all. So I'm curious what you think about all this. Is any of this possible?
Yeah, I mean, look, Yaffee, if you are someone like Barry Moore, right, and you are trying to convince people that you should be the next senator from the great state of Alabama, voting for a bill that opens DHS but does not fund ICE or Border Patrol should be a non-starter, right? I mean, how do you go back to voters and say, look, guys, we just kind of had to swallow this, and I'm sorry that, we aren't going to be able to fully be deporting people like we promised. We're not going to have as safe of a border as we should, but we kind of just had to vote for this thing without that funding. There are conservatives all across the country, Yaffee, that's just not a fathomable position. And I feel bad for people like Barry Moore because, frankly, they're going to be told, you got to vote for this, right? You got to open back DHS. We can't keep it shut down forever. And so a lot of these good Republicans, a lot of these conservative Republicans are going to be told, look, you got to just vote for this. And wink, wink, nod, nod. We're going to take care of the other important stuff on the back end. Good on Barry Moore saying no. That is not how this should operate. We should not be doing any of this until we fund ICE and Border Patrol. I think that's a good position to be on. And I think it's got to get done because, again, what reason are Republicans giving their voters to go vote in November, Yaffee? If we open up DHS and we don't fund ICE or Border Patrol, it's just another Republican loss, and they can try and explain it away. But I just don't think come November that voters are going to buy it. They're sick and tired of seeing Republicans capitulate and lose.
Okay, so understand that completely. Do you think it will actually happen this way? I mean, what do you think will actually be the end result?
Look, Yaffee, I think that any Republican right now, and I love the House Freedom Caucus, and I fully understand what they're trying to do. I also think that most of the Republican leverage has been taken away because of the way that the Senate has operated. But I don't trust the reconciliation process because I don't trust that a Harry Reid appointed Senate parliamentarian is going to allow a lot of these big ticket items to pass through reconciliation. I just don't buy it. We look at how much of the one big beautiful bill was stripped away because the Senate parliamentarian told us that we could not do it via reconciliation. This is the norm. They do not let Republicans get big ticket items done through reconciliation. They will always shoot it down. And Republicans in the Senate will go, okay, that this one, bureaucrat told us we can't do this, so we're not going to do it. It's how it always happens. And so I hope that the reconciliation tool is something that can be used. It should be used. It should be tried. But I'm just not optimistic, Yaffee, that someone who has shown to be very, very liberal in their interpretation of what can get through reconciliation is going to suddenly wake up and go, all right, I guess we'll let you guys fund all of these initiatives through reconciliation today. I'm just not buying that that's going to happen.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, but I was talking, another guest I had on this week, Christopher Reed, he was calling on John Thune to just fire this parliamentarian. That, okay, if you're not going to blow up the filibuster, get rid of that. At the very least, fire that parliamentarian, get someone in there who would accept it through reconciliation. But I'm guessing you're not even optimistic that could happen.
No, I think it could happen. Absolutely. I don't know why we've continued on this path. I mean, Mitch McConnell could have gotten rid of the Harry Reid parliamentarian. John Thune could get rid of the Harry Reid parliamentarian. It's one of those things where Republicans just don't seem willing to do what they have to do. They would rather lose than the mainstream media come out and say they're being really bad. And I don't understand it, Yaffee. Absolutely. The parliamentarian should be canned. And at the very least, I don't think it should be a prerequisite that, let's find a parliamentarian that's going to let all of our stuff through. But at the very least, you should have a parliamentarian that Republicans pick and Republicans can swallow rather than allowing Harry Reid's pick to just go unfeathered, shutting down large portions of the Trump agenda.
Speaking to the legendary Will Hampson, he is the official DC insider of the show. So my main question for you is this then. Who do you think is winning the PR battle here, Democrats or Republicans? In terms of the midterms, I mean, are Democrats successfully campaigning off DHS not being funded, or are they being blamed?
Yaffee, I think it's abundantly clear to everyone who's following this that Democrats are 100% walking the dog when it comes to Republicans. Because look, what are Republicans' options now? Frankly, it's one of two things. Either they are the ones responsible for not passing a bill to open DHS back up, or they are responsible for passing a bill to open DHS back up, which effectively refuses to fund ICE and Border Patrol. Both of those are wins for Democrats. I mean, look, Yaffee, the only thing that I think at this point, Democrats over the course of this have gotten Kristi Noem fired. That was one of their things. They've ensured that ICE is not able to fully operate at full capacity. They've ensured that Border Patrol is not able to operate at full capacity. The only thing that they haven't been able to get out of this deal so far is John Thune personally delivering donuts to all of their offices. I mean, I don't know what else they could want when it comes to this that they haven't gotten. And it's because Republicans have shot themselves in the foot. It is because the Senate took away all leverage that Republicans had. When there were those long lines at TSA, Republicans had leverage. And Democrats seemed like they were starting to understand. John Ossoff was not loving those 5-hour lines at the Atlanta TSA. He just wasn't. It was not a good place for him to be. And so what did we do? We let him off the hook. We took it away. We took away the leverage that Republicans had. And now Republicans are in a spot, particularly House Republicans, who are always more conservative than Senate Republicans. And they have to decide, do we take a bad deal or do we take a really bad deal? Those are their only options right now. So I don't see what more Democrats could want out of this. I think they've gotten just about everything they could have asked for.
Now, you say we took away their leverage. Are you talking about because of the executive order to pay TSA, or what takes away the leverage?
The leverage, Yaffee, was before the Senate passed their deal. When the Senate passed a deal and effectively said to the House, you guys have to decide, now it's on Republicans in the House to decide, do we keep DHS shut down, or do we pass a bill that doesn't fund these initiatives? Now House Republicans, they have no leverage. They have to decide which bad deal do we take. And it didn't have to be that way. If the Senate had not passed via 5 people on the floor of the Senate at 2 a.m., a deal that they knew the American people would hate, then Republicans in the House wouldn't be in this position. It's completely unfathomable that Republicans would cave. But their 2.5-week recess seemingly was more important than them staying and trying to hash out a better deal.
Speaking with the legendary Will Hampson, before you go, I want to shift gears to the Iran deal. Are you optimistic that this ceasefire can hold for 2 weeks, or probably not? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously the thing we're seeing, Yaffee, is I think that Iran believes that they're in a better negotiating position than they are. I think obviously the president is going to step up some initiatives, continue to try and negotiate here. But the president has made it very clear he wants to negotiate. He wants a deal, but he is prepared, should that not happen, to finish the job. And so I think that in this case, the president holds a lot of the cards. And I hope that we see a swift resolution to all of this. Because, again, the American people don't want a continuing conflict with Iran going on any longer. I think the president's unilateral authority to act in Iran ends later this month. He would have to go back to Congress. I believe it's April 26th, 27th-ish. And so I think everyone wants to avoid that. I don't think Republicans want to be put in a spot where they have to vote on continuing this conflict. And I think that the president understands the dynamics here and wants to get this done quickly.
Well, yeah, but I mean, does that mean we're not going to finish the job, maybe? Let's say Iran doesn't really keep up their end of the bargain in the ceasefire. Is it possible we just leave anyway, or what do you think?
No, I think that the president is fully prepared to finish the job if that's the path that Iran chooses. I think the ball is in their court. I think he's made it very clear what he's going to do. He's said they'll turn him into a parking lot. He'll send him back to the Stone Age. I don't think when the president talks like that, he's joking. I think he is fully prepared to completely decimate Iran. Now, obviously, we know what that means. It means a lot of civilian deaths. It means killing a lot of people who are just looking for freedom. But the president is fully prepared to do what has to be done to ensure that the Iranian regime comes to heel.
The legendary Will Hampson, the official D.C. insider of the show. Appreciate you coming on, my friend. We'll talk to you again next time.
Pleasure as always, Yaffee.
All right, there you go. If you want to react to that, you can. We have our Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. When we get back, I got to talk about this whole 10 Commandments thing going through the Alabama legislature. It passed. The reaction to it is beyond reason, to say the least. So we'll get to that and more next on the Yaffee program. Stay with us.
The Yaffee program.
Newstalk 770 AM 92.5 FM. WVNN. I am Alabama's Truth Czar. This is Huntsville's Disinformation Board. You can always weigh in on the text line, 866-494-9866. It's a Yaffee text line brought to you by RegenesisStemCell.com. One person texted this real quick before we get to some more news, but one person said, when people have to keep telling me the greatness of the Artemis mission, I become suspect that they are justifying their jobs at NASA. I mean, usually I would kind of agree with that, but I don't think does not seem like something that they're like talking us into. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something where you see the pictures or you see a lot of people celebrating it. They're not doing it because they're being convinced. It's pretty obviously just cool. Like, the average person just looks at it and is like, that's awesome. This is great. So there are definitely times where, like, you have certain things that are promoted and you can tell they're just trying to push it to justify their own existence. I don't know. I mean, obviously, people who work for NASA, of course, are going to push it a little harder. But I don't sense this being that people like it because they're being told to like it or something. It just seems like people think it's cool. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me. Now, got to talk about this real quick, and I'll read some of this from 1819 News. It says, Dems rail against bill requiring 10 commandments in schools. And one Democrat said, quote, and this is a quote, "We slaughtered an entire civilization on this ground." Dear God. The Democrats in Alabama are now basically running on, we hate the 10 commandments and borderline anti-Semitism, I guess. But here's what some people said about it. So this was passed, even though Democrats pushed back. The House of Representatives finalized a bill on the final day of the session requiring schools to display the 10 commandments, provided that the display or the funds to purchase are donated to the school. So doesn't even cost the school money, has historical context. It seems like a no-brainer. Just be like, okay, cool. That sounds good. Put it next to the American flag. We're good. But no, we have, like this Democrat, Calvin Datcher, question the effectiveness of the 10 Commandments since when they were last prominent in public schools, Black Americans were facing oppression. So it's always about race. Says, how effective was the display and inclusion of the commandments when at the same time folks who sat on front rows of churches were bombing churches? Now, I just want to point out once again that if we're going to talk about what pushed this country to abolition leading up to the Civil War, the most prominent abolitionists were doing it because of their Christian faith. It was churches and Christian groups that were at the forefront of that. Now, move forward to the Civil Rights Movement. It was also Christian groups that were doing that. Christianity, that faith, which of course the Ten Commandments is a part of that, had a huge role in ending slavery, the abolitionist movement, and the Civil Rights Movement. So you would think that would mean the Ten Commandments are good. But no. Some people say no, apparently. But another person said this, we slaughtered an entire, well, actually, it's the same person, said we slaughtered an entire civilization on this ground, and we enslaved another civilization on this ground. So at first I thought maybe he was talking about Gaza or something. Actually, what he's talking about is he's talking about what we did to the Native Americans, even though what really did that was, disease more than anything. And then enslaved another civilization on this ground, talking about slavery. Okay. So that means the Ten Commandments are bad? That's your take? The fact is, when you want to talk about military conquest or you want to talk about slavery, both of those things existed basically since the beginning of human civilization, all over the planet at the time. But it was the United States of America and Western civilization, because a lot of it had to do with the Ten Commandments, Judeo-Christian ethic, that we eventually worked against those things. Where do you think it came from to really want to abolish slavery, like I said? Or to not be imperialist, conquest, but to actually liberate countries? So once again, it's this idea by some Democrats to say, well, America is bad, and we've always been bad, and how dare us promote anything that might say America is good? That's what they're saying. When we're like, the Judeo-Christian ethic that was the foundation of Western civilization, that was the foundation of America, maybe it's a good thing, and maybe we should teach at the very basics of it, which is the Ten Commandments. But there you go. They're going to campaign on that. At least they're in Alabama, so good luck with that, I have to say. All right, going to move on to what's trending in the next segment. Right now, I got to tell you about my good friends at Jay's Appliance Outlet. If you're looking maybe for a new fridge, you want your food to stay cold year-round. Yes, of course. If you need a new fridge, you don't want to pay too much, though. Go to Jay's Appliance Outlet. The selection there is great. So they have different types of fridge, whether it's side-by-side, or you have the ones with, you have the ones that's the top and bottom, or the one that's like a combination. You know what I'm talking about. Go to Jay's Appliance Outlet, different sizes as well, and you're going to get it for a great price. Located in Athens off 72. Dial pound 250, say Jay's Appliance Outlet. Tell them Yaffee sent you.
It's the Yaffee Program on WVNN.
Hey there, I'm Paula Pan. I help people make the smartest money decisions possible.
Joe, you know what's been great about being a saver?
More money in the bank.
And that money over the past couple of years has made a pretty good yield. Pre-pandemic, money was making zero. Now it's actually making something, but that's starting to go down, down, down.
I love how we can play the fact that inflation's been really high as a positive. But if you're a saver, you know what that means? Cha-ching.
Silver lining, Joe, silver lining.
Afford anything. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Welcome back to the Yaffee Program. We are here on Newstalk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Also at WVNN.com, the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn Radio app, or your Alexa, Siri, Google smart devices. You can tell them all to listen to Yaffee. That is what you should say. Tell everyone in general, but tell them as well. Walker is here, so let's do it. We have What's Trending with Walker.
Keeping you up to date with all that's trending in your world.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
You guys know how to post videos to Facebook?
It's What's Trending.
Sponsored by Coleman Furniture Market. And right now, you got to go today or go this weekend, especially because it is the last weekend to save big during the Refund Madness event. So stop it now to claim your store-wide tax amount discount on famous brands. Once the tax deadline hits on April 15th, though, the deals are gone. So now is the time to go to Coleman Furniture Market. Now, they're located in the heart of Coleman, Alabama, 1807 2nd Avenue Southwest in Coleman, Alabama. You can find out more on their website, ColemanFurnitureMarket.com. You can also like their Facebook page or follow them on Instagram to see some of the latest stuff, including this Hooker Riverton collection where it's a love seat couch collection, leather love seat couch, which is really nice. So if you're looking for something like that or, whatever, they have anything. The selection is huge. It really is. So go to Coleman Furniture Market today. And when you do, let them know Yaffee was the one who sent you. All right, Walker, what's number 5 today?
Number 5 today, Quaker has released protein granola.
Doesn't it already have protein? No? Isn't it already a thing with protein? Are they just adding more protein? You sound unsure.
It says new protein granola. There are two new flavors. Mango and passion fruit, and then chocolate brownie with salted caramel.
No, that one sounds kind of good. Chocolate brownie. My daughter likes granola bars. She's 2.5, but she loves. I don't know why. It's weird.
Oh, it's not granola bars. It's like granola to put on yogurt.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh,
never mind. I hate all of this then.
Okay.
I don't know why. I know that's like a thing. I don't like stuff like that on yogurt. I just like the yogurt.
I guess you don't want crunchy things in your yogurt.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of that. I don't know why, it's a texture thing.
That makes sense.
But what about you?
I like it sometimes. I go through these bouts of really liking yogurt and then absolutely not being able to stand it.
Do you like Greek yogurt?
I think I usually get Greek yogurt when I do.
See, plain Greek yogurt makes no sense to me. I feel like I'm eating sour cream or something. I don't like it, but if you have a flavor, like a vanilla yogurt or something, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I usually get strawberry.
Okay, it's got to have some flavor. Some Greek yogurt just has like no flavor, and I'm just like, no.
And people do use it as a sour cream alternative because it's supposed to be healthier.
Yeah, I think we've done that before on like tacos or something, which is, I mean, it's fine as that. It's just, I don't know, when you're just eating it plain, like just yogurt, it is, no, it needs something else. Usually I like vanilla. And this is where Dale Jackson be like, because you're vanilla or something. I don't know. All right, what's number 4?
Number 4, Billie Eilish's mother has created a cookbook for both of her kids that...
Billie Eilish's mother?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
She's made a cookbook to pass recipes down that they grew up with. And I think that it's really sweet because it's something that I wish was more of a like general
passing down
tradition.
Recipes.
Yeah. Like
it definitely used to be a tradition, but now we're so spoiled where we just eat everything out and I don't know, cook it in the microwave. We don't do that as much.
Yeah, but I would love for that to be like growing up, moving out gift passed down from whoever cooked the most in your family.
Yeah, I mean, I could see my wife doing that. Steffi, she loves to cook in different recipes. I could see her one day passing down recipes to Evie. And oh yes, if for some reason my daughter Evie becomes a multi-million-dollar celebrity and I want to make some money myself, I will use her name to sell sell books. Sure, why not? Because that's what's happening here. Nobody would buy it except it's Billie Eilish's mother. So now they'll buy it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So nope. All credit to that. I mean, you use what you got. Use the name. I think that's great. Do you like to cook?
I love to cook.
Okay, didn't know that.
I grew up. There's a picture of me as a toddler with a colander on my head in the kitchen.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time with my grandmother in the kitchen.
I mean, I don't really cook because Steffi likes to cook. And if I start cooking, she just interrupts and and it's like I'm doing it wrong or something.
Oh.
It's like her domain. It's like her kitchen. But also, I'm very impatient with stuff like that. You know, if I'm hungry, I want to eat it now. I don't want to cook something that's going to take 30 minutes.
Yeah, the thing for me is that there are these recipes that say they take 15 minutes and then it'll take me half an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to really like it to be willing to wait to do it.
Yeah.
And usually when I'm cooking, I'm like, I'm really hungry. I want to eat now. But also now I'm just spoiled because Steffi likes to cook. So I don't have to.
What's your favorite thing that she cooks?
Ooh, that is a good question. She cooks a lot of stuff. She makes a really good chicken pot pie.
Oh.
From scratch. I mean, I did not grow up with like my parents cooking a lot from scratch or something. So she'll make a lot of different things. So she'll cook a pot pie from scratch. She makes this really good on my birthday, which is coming up not too long this month. She usually makes a chocolate silk pie for me, which is so good. It's so good. She makes the best cookies in the world.
You know, I've heard that a lot from just, I guess, married men, is that their wife makes really good cookies.
Well, most married men say that, but I'm telling the truth because she'll make them and we'll give them. I've given them out to coworkers. I've given them out to like our church friends and stuff, and they're all like raving about it. She really one day she wants to like open up a coffee shop, and I'm like, you have to sell the cookies at the shop. They would sell very well.
All right.
So I hope she's listening now. I feel like this was a good. She was my hate during Hate at 8 today on Dale's show, so now I have to make up for it.
Yes, you do.
So this is how we're doing that. All right, are we number 3?
We are at number 3.
Yeah, number 3.
United Airlines has reworked their new Airbus cabin design which gives a wide body experience on a narrow body jet, featuring suite style business seats with sliding doors.
Okay, I gotta look this up now.
And a walk up snack bar in economy. Which I didn't know that was ever a thing. A walk up snack bar on a plane.
I've heard that on like the really big fancy planes where it's like 2-story, but
2-story? I didn't know that was a thing
you've
either.
never seen a 2-story where it's like, you have like a second row in the plane. I think it has to be like a 787 or something. It has to be pretty big. But now I want to look this. I'm trying to look this up because I honestly, you know what I think's probably coming one day? I think you'll have really fancy stuff like that, and then you'll have planes that are like buses where you can some people have to stand and hold a bar or something.
That would be ridiculous.
Standing room only airplane. It'd be cheaper, but it's like a city bus.
Maybe for like really short flights.
Oh man, honestly, for a really short flight, if it was that cheap, I'd think about it. I'm not gonna lie. But no, they won't do that for safety reasons. But I've always thought you're gonna get advertisements and holding bars and standing room on planes. Mm-hmm. But no, you need to send this to me because I've not seen this. I really want to know what it looks like.
There aren't really many pictures, but I will send you what I have.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's more explaining it. Okay.
Yeah. And it, of course, has Bluetooth pairing for all the entertainment.
Yeah, well, yes, of course it does. That's good.
Yeah, and the seats convert to 78-inch beds.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
So you said it was United Airlines.
Yes.
And it was which Airbus?
The A321XLR.
XLR Airbus. Okay. I see it. Okay. I'm going to look into this. As you talk. All right, let's go to number 2.
Number 2, there has been a craze over a like squishy fidget type toy called Nido. Well, that's the brand at least. They have a lot of different like versions of the toy, and they are selling out everywhere.
What? So it's called Nido?
Yeah, it's called Nido. Needoh.
Oh, Needo. Okay.
Yeah, there are a bunch of different sizes, shapes, even a cute cat, or just a cube that you can stretch and squeeze.
All right. I have to look. You keep having stuff I have to look up now to see what you're talking about.
Well, see, that's the goal.
And to get people to look it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Nido.
I've had one of their where it was basically just a ball before, but I just heard a YouTuber that I watch mention it, and I was like, well, why is it that popular? And there doesn't even seem to be a specific reason. That it's just really popular, like on TikTok or something, and people are lining up for it.
All right. All these weird fads. It's just another fad, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's number 1?
Number 1, Coachella starts today. Headlining with Sabrina Carpenter, of course.
Oh, yeah. Sounds about right.
And then other artists such as Teddy Swims, Foster for the People, Justin Bieber, Somber, and Carol
So the only
G.
ones I know right now are Sabrina Carpenter and Justin Bieber. I don't know any of those other artists.
I would say Teddy Swims is really good.
Okay.
I would love to see him in concert.
Okay, so Coachella, you going to go? You going to be there? No, you have to go to Nashville and play board games. I forgot.
Yeah, but people can watch it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Starting at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm not sure what that is, Central Standard Time.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
But there's a show each day this weekend.
Makes sense. All right, well, I'm not going to watch it. But if you want to watch it, Coachella on YouTube. Appreciate it. Thanks, Walker. Appreciate it. We'll be back with the Yaffee Program Rewind in a moment. This is the Yaffee Program.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
All right, back here on the Yaffee Program. Final segment of the show. By the way, Walker is here producing. You were talking to me off air, Walker, because yesterday I was talking about how we lost the remote, or Steffi was texting me, my wife, that we lost the remote, and that can be a problem because, Evie wants to watch Bluey, and that can be an issue. Well, she found the remote.
Oh, good.
So no.
Well, I guess...
I thought we were going to have to get a new TV. A bigger one, maybe. Fancier one. Better quality.
I mean, would you be the one paying for it anyway?
Well, yeah, that's true. But
so you could just get one.
No. You're definitely not married, Walker. I can tell you're not married. If you think you can just do things, it's, trust me. Of course, if you do get married, you'll be the wife, so you got the power. No, I cannot just buy an expensive TV and say, sorry, honey, it's my money. I got it. I don't.
I feel like, at least to me, it seems like it would be different when it's something she would also get to enjoy.
Yeah, but you'll learn.
Okay.
You'll learn one day. You just can't. But anyway, I tried to bribe the cleaning lady into losing it again.
Oh my God.
But that didn't work. It didn't. And I'm asking everyone, and they're like, just get another remote. I'm like, guys, you are missing. Stop trying to help here. So I guess we'll just keep the TV we have. I guess it's fine.
Now,
all right. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. What if it accidentally ended up in the diaper bin?
Oh. Yeah. Well, I mean, the way my child is now, this Isaiah, who has just been born, he'd probably eat it because he eats everything. He eats not everything, but he eats all the time. He's a gigantic baby we have, so I could just tell Steffi that the baby ate the remote, and that would be, All right, Walker, let's end the show like we usually do. We have the Yaffee Program Rewind. All right, and if you miss any of the show live, this is the time where I remind you, you can get the podcast on the website, WVNN.com, or anywhere podcasts are available, or the WVNN app up there as well. So we talked at the beginning of the show about the latest in Iran. Democrats still against it. Trump says that the ceasefire is holding, but had a warning to the leadership in Iran when it came to some of these rumors about them still keeping the strait closed, warned them not to do that. Also, played some audio earlier. Let me get back to some of the audio cuts here. So play the Kevin Hassett cut for me, Walker.
We fully expect that we've got so much on the table that we're willing to give to help the Iranian people if they just act normally, that hopefully there'll be cooler heads and sounder minds at the Iranian side, and that we'll come to a final agreement this weekend. If they establish a rule of law, if they join the community of nations, then we fully expect that they could be a very wealthy and peaceful country again. And so I think that, analysis of how good it could be for them if they take a deal is something that will for sure be on the table. I began the year with a guess that we'd probably be in the 4 to 5 range for economic growth because of all this, and I'll stick by those numbers. I think this is a temporary a distraction that will very, very quickly go away. You saw that when you saw the market celebrate yesterday when they thought that this would be over.
All right, there you go. So if you missed it, the podcast is up on the website. Actually, wanted to play this cut as well as a reminder. Hakeem Jeffries, Republicans in the House blocked an effort for them, a war powers resolution to stop the war. Hakeem Jeffries reacted to that. Play the Hakeem Jeffries cut for me.
In this reckless war of choice, and billions of dollars are being spent to drop bombs in Iran, while Republicans are unwilling to spend a dime to make life more affordable for the American people. We need a permanent end to Donald Trump's costly and reckless war of choice. And House Democrats are committed to bringing about that outcome. We only need a handful of Republicans, like Mike Lawler, Nicole Maliotakis, or others, to join House Democrats so we can end the madness now. Article 5, an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. That collective defense provision has only been invoked once in the history of the NATO alliance. That was in defense of the United States of America.
All right, so if you missed that, the podcast is up on the website, WVNN.com. We also had the Alabama bullet points, of course, a lot of stuff that made it through the last day of the Alabama legislative session, but some things that didn't. We had that. Thanks to Brad Presnall as well and Will Hampson. Both of them were on the show. The interviews, the podcast of those are up. We had What's Trending. Thanks to Walker for producing and doing What's Trending. And thanks to you for listening. I'll be back tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. No, I will not be back tomorrow. I will be back Monday at the same time. See you then.
The Yaffee Program.
Vince Colonnese is redefining news talk.
I'm Vince Colonnese, host of the Vince Podcast. I'm bringing you the truth beneath the headlines of all of the nation's top stories.
In-depth interviews.
We feature newsmaking interviews with the top guests on the whole planet. And I'll ask the questions you only dream of other interviewers asking.
And a front row seat to the most important conversations of the day.
It's a show with an obsessive focus on what's good for America. You are going to love Vince.
The Vince Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.